Live from MetLife Stadium, it's another afternoon of New York Jets football. The Jets are going to the AFC Championship game.
Wischusen's in the house, everyone.
It is good! Nick Folk nails it.
Everybody loves this.
Cuts it back at the 5. He's into the end zone.
This is our Where in the World is Daddy map, so when Bob gets his college game assignment, we find out where he's going, what state, what city.
Especially in a Jet bye week, probably people think, oh, it's a week off. The Jets don't have a game. Last Thursday, I flew to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and did Clemson, Wake Forest on Saturday night.
Inside the 20, and gone!
Flew on Sunday night from Newark to Kansas City. Had 2 basketball games Monday.
Speaking of dangerous!
2 basketball games Tuesday.
An entertaining, high-energy, fast-paced game.
Thanksgiving morning, back at the Jets complex at 7 a.m. to interview Todd Bowles. And now it's the day after Thanksgiving, and we're driving to Penn State to do this game, Penn State, Michigan State tomorrow. And then right after the game's over, drive back on Saturday night, Jets-Patriots on Sunday. So, Coach, I'll start real quick. We just had you guys 2 weeks ago. You know, my big picture question, obviously, has a lot to do with not only the ramifications of this game, but the ramifications of the game being played right before you guys. Do you address that?
Maybe 20 years ago you wouldn't address it, but now with social media and information so easily at people's fingertips, we did. We talked about it, earlier in the week.
Television is just a lot more prep work. There's a lot more storytelling. There's a lot more elements. There's a lot more synergy between what you see on the screen and what we're saying up in the booth. Directors wanting to make sure that they know what you want to talk about, you being prepared, whatever they put on the screen. The single biggest challenge of my job is the travel. No one wants to hear me complain about my job. I get to go to games for a living. And this was a dream job when I was a kid. But I have 5 kids, and they have school plays. And they have basketball games and lacrosse games and football games and soccer games. So missing all of those things on the weekends that all the other parents get to go be a part of with their kids is hard.
It's definitely a challenge, but we've gotten this down. It's a fairly well-oiled machine. I feel his support even on the road. Great thing is that the spring and the summer his schedule lightens up. So right now we're in the grind.
So these are Michigan State and Penn State charts from earlier this season. Now I've got the Penn State and Michigan State charts that I have worked on the entire week. And as a contrast, this afternoon I'll be digging into Patriots and Jets. I could almost go in with a blank Jets chart and do a Jets game. I mean, I know all these players. I know what their backstories are. I know where they played before. I know what they've done since they've been with the Jets. So it will be a little more economical in terms of what I write down. But for college football, I mean, I'm starting on Monday.
How do you guys want to start? If this game is going to be Penn State wins and they're in, what's the discussion, the number one discussion point?
My thought would be to tee you up that you can make an argument that they have a chance to be the most miraculous story in college football this year.
I would challenge anybody to find a better football guy in our ESPN family. There's great broadcasters, and as far as just football acumen, understanding the game, challenging me, knowing the ins and outs, watching tape, and at times pointing things out to me on tape, very few in the business that can do that.
To your point that you made to me last week, whatever they do to script their first 15, it's pretty good.
The 2 best defenses they saw this year, they went right down on the field on the script.
It's difficult because in radio you're painting a picture that people can't see, but the day before, everybody can see what's going on. You don't need to tell me that the N and the Y are interlocked or anything like that. I listen to him. I'm from Connecticut, so I hear Bob on the radio, and it's a very different. He is painting with Marty, whereas here, our director is painting the picture, and he's adding to it.
I mean, these 3 weeks are madness. Absolute madness. I had to go home and pack a bag and fly out. Well, he's had to do that multiple times and cover multiple games and multiple sports, and be able to adjust to each of those kind of platforms, I think really shows his broadcasting chops, one of the best.
College football, when it's at its best, when you're in places like Tallahassee and the Big House and the Horseshoe and Happy Valley and so on and so forth. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
4, 3,
Fontaine,
2,
Bush, ready to cap it.
Welcome to ESPN College Football. Michigan State comes to Happy Valley to take on number 7 Penn State. They're cheering all around Happy Valley now because Ohio State has just scored a touchdown. That emotion, I'm sure, transferring down to that Penn State sideline. Pumps once. He's looking end zone. Chris Godwin. That's a Penn State touchdown.
ready to clean.
I'm going to ask him about Damian Terry after this
Copy
play.
that. Too clean. Copy that.
Going to quarterback here, guys. After the play, nothing
Yeah,
happened.
why he's still in.
Copy that. Good.
For Allison and Brock, I'm Bob Wischusen. Penn State wins it. We head back to Adnan to the college football scoreboard.
Big game, Bob. Thank you very much.
They put me in a college game on Saturday where there is a travel scenario that I can very realistically make to get to a game on Sunday. But that doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. 2 weeks ago, we did a game, Penn State at Indiana, and I had a 5 o'clock flight and made it to the airport at 4:53 and made my 5 o'clock flight. This is about as stress-free as it gets, just a car ride. All right, time to go to work. I love you. For all the sacrifices that we make, all the family time that I miss, and the job that I leave my wife with at home, when I take off and go do this, that not only do I love it, you have to have that support system or you couldn't pull it off. And, you know, my wife Julie is an unbelievable support system. That spring, early summertime period, that's family vacation time. That's, you know, a chance for me to go to the lacrosse games and the soccer games and the baseball games and things like that. That lets me be a dad.
Live from MetLife Stadium, it's another afternoon of New York Jets football.
To now have the opportunity to call the games for one of the teams you grew up rooting for, I mean, that really is literally a dream come true.
The throw, whips it right, head's caught, Brandon Marshall, that's a Jet touchdown.
He's very in tune with details, and I think that's what makes him so good at what he does.
Perfectly executed back shoulder throw.
Being, you know, part of the crowd, being at the event, makes you feel like you're part of it.
Oh, his back right hip landed in the end zone. That's going to be a Jet touchdown.
Hopefully for Jets fans every Sunday, they know that all I am is just one of them. They want to be a part of it by being in the stands and rooting for the team, and I want to be a part of it by being in the booth and calling the game.
The fifth quarter show is coming up next with Larry and Greg. Reaction from the locker room and Todd Bowles' post-game press conference. In just a moment, this is Jets football on the ESPN Radio Network.
You can tell that he's a sports fan at his core. That's why he's as good at this as he is.
This is what Bob is built to do. He's got the bravado, he's got the chops, he's got the confidence.
The Jets are going to the AFC Championship game.
He is committed to making sure that whatever broadcast he's on is going to be the best broadcast you can listen to.
He's got it! Touchdown!
This is Big Game Bob.